So behind me is the Quarantine River. I'm standing on the Suriname side of the Quarantine River. Over there is Guyana. And over the next 10 days, I will be primitive camping on the shores of this river, eating what we catch in the river and eating what we can hunt in the forest. So for the next 24 hours, I'm gonna eat only the local authentic food that is prepared out here at camp by the locals I'm out here camping with. I'm Dave Kaufman, and this is Dave Kaufman Eats the World. Here in Suriname, in order to survive out here in the Amazon rainforest, you have got to be resourceful. And still, to this day, there are people that live out here in the rainforest that have lived almost exclusively off the bounties that the rainforest has to offer. They get their dinner in the rivers, and they get their dinner in the forests. And they've been doing this for generation after generation. And here, they prepare that rainforest bounty in a very unique way that is rarely ever seen before. So this morning, we're gonna meet up with Becky, our camp chef, once again and start making breakfast. Good morning, Becky. What are we doing in the kitchen this morning?
I'm gonna make fry bakes.
Fry bakes.
Fry bakes are a traditional fry bread, but a bit different here in South America than it's made in North America. It's a dense pocket bread that is made from simple ingredients, and it all starts with an avalanche of all-purpose flour. Then add some raw sugar, a pinch of salt, a sprinkling of baking powder, a touch of instant yeast, then a big tablespoon of butter, a dash of powdered milk, and then it's all mixed together into a dough using the freshest water the river has to offer. Once it's kneaded into a dense, compact ball of dough, a new bowl is lined with a bit of flour, and then it's time to section off the dough into smaller balls of dough. This recipe calls for 11 individual bakes, which is good because there's 11 people at camp. I'm pretty sure that's what Becky's plan was all along. Then it's just a matter of setting them aside and letting them rise for 15 minutes. Then it's back to the kitchen to continue making breakfast, which consists of diced tomatoes and eggs to which Becky seasons with salt and pepper. Meanwhile, a pot of vegetable oil is heated to the perfect temperature on the grill to which Becky uses to fry the tomatoes, and then she adds the eggs. While the eggs are cooking, our other camp cook, Joan, is busy shredding coconut.
Joan? Nobody grinds a coconut like you.
And in another pot on the grill, red beans are coming to a boil.
All right, Becky, what is our next step?
We're gonna fry the bakes now in the hot oil.
All right, but look at what you're doing. You're making them into little UFOs.
Yes.
So you flatten out them into that, and then, oh yeah. Oh, that doesn't take long to fry at all, does it? How long do you do this for?
5 minutes or less.
So it's in the fryer for 5 minutes or less?
Yeah.
And then, this boy is ready. All right, so this isn't part of the recipe, but we have some plantains left over, so we are frying those up for brekkie as well. All right, so our bake is good and baked. You just tear this open, and it is so densely packed. And then we grab some of these eggs and we just cram them right into that little pocket right in there. So this is basically a typical breakfast out here in the wilds of Suriname in the jungle. It's basically like the easiest thing that you can make. A nice piece of pocket fry bread stuffed with eggs. Instant coffee. You're good to go. Let's give this a try. Oh, yeah. You can go around the world to any bread bakery and you will not find bread like this. It is so densely packed, so buttery. The oils just kind of complement those flavors. This is a good, hearty, fill you up, stick to your ribs kind of breakfast for when you're out here in the rainforest. And it'll give you just a boost of energy. You've got the proteins, you've got the carbohydrates.
The bread also is very fulfilling because it fills you up and you could go along while with it. It's not like the local bread, you know. You eat a piece and you get hungry fast.
Right.
But this is kind of more solid.
Becky, we would die out here without you.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is Amy Bentley. She is joining us on this Amazon expedition. You have made a really interesting concoction out of your bake.
Yes, I have. It's dessert bake. It has cherry preserves, fried plantains, and my most favorite fruit ever, pamplemousse.
Pamplemousse. This is good stuff. It's like a combination between grapefruit and so you bite into a grapefruit, it's a little sour. You bite into this, it's already sweet. All right, give that a whirl.
All right. It's really good.
That looks really good.
Dessert bake.
Dessert bake. And yes, that is a snake in her shirt there. It's an Amazon free boa. Just hanging out and having breakfast with us.
So now that we've had our fill of fresh bake for breakfast, and we let our little snake friend go in the forest, it's now time to think about lunch. And for that, we have to go to the Amazon grocery store, otherwise known as the Quarantine River. And if we don't catch anything, we don't get lunch. So it's a good thing that I sort of know what I'm doing.
Oh, there he is. He's back. Oh, this time I got him. This time I got him. I got him. Oh, he's big. He's a big bass. Look at that. Look at this bass. This is the biggest peacock bass that I've ever caught. Now, are fish this size, are these good eating or are they too big? No, this is eating.
We have food for tomorrow.
We have food for tomorrow. We have food for tomorrow, the next day, and into next week with this guy.
So now that I've caught the biggest fish in this river, back at camp, one of the hunters we're out here with, Tony, demonstrates how you clean and prep a monster fish like this. Like, seriously, the biggest bass ever caught in these waters. Ever.
Well, we start taking off the scale, but we won't fillet this.
We won't fillet it, we'll
Yes.
make it into steaks.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah. That's a dish that Becky wanna prepare.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how she want it.
And then the next step is essentially cutting them into steaks.
Yeah.
Now this is very interesting because elsewhere in the world, we use a fillet knife. Here in the Amazon, you don't use a fillet knife.
We use what's available.
You use a hammer and a machete.
Yes.
All right, so Tony has cleaned that bass, and now we're heading over to the camp kitchen to see how they cook peacock bass in the wilderness. Becky, nice to see you again in your kitchen.
Hi.
All right, so we're cooking up a bass. All right, so they've let the bass chunks marinate with this sour orange. There is so many citrus fruits here in the Amazon that we have never heard of outside of the Amazon, and this is one of them. So that's gonna sit there and marinate in the sour orange juice, and then we're gonna come over here, and what's the first thing we do? So what do we have in this thing here?
Made out of bitter cassava.
Or yucca juice.
Yucca juice, cassava juice. All right, step number 2. We add some peppers. All right, step 3,
Salt.
we put in a pinch of salt. Step number 4, add a big fistful of sugar. We let our cassava juice, hot pepper, sugary, salt mixture sit and boil, and then once it boils, it's ready for the fish?
Yes.
All right, so while we're waiting for the cassava juice to boil, we're gonna come over here to the pantry, and these are some fruits and vegetables that, you know, a lot of people actually have not seen these outside of the Amazon. Like, what do you call this thing right here?
It's a watermelon.
A what?
Watermelon.
Watermelon?
Yes.
That is crazy. And then what is this thing?
It's eggplant.
Eggplant. Wow. Do you know that this means something else if you send it as an emoji?
Really?
Yeah.
I know.
What is this?
Cucumbers.
Cucumber.
Yeah.
Okay, this is going well. All right, but there's something that you saved for us to try that you actually went out into the forest here and got, and that's
Yes.
this. So what are these?
You call them padu.
Padu.
Yeah.
And so these are a bean that grows here in the rainforest.
Yes, but it's a fruit.
But it's a fruit.
Yes, it's like a bean.
And so you cut these open,
Yeah.
and it's just like kind of cacao,
Yeah.
which is, you know, what they make chocolate out of.
Yeah.
And look at that. So what you do is you take each little individual thing, like this,
And you eat it.
and you eat it. And there's a seed in there.
Yeah.
And what you basically do is suck that seed and suck all that pulp off of there. All right, so let's give this padu a try here. You really have to suck these things. Really suck. And suck them some more.
Bite.
This is a really interesting texture, and it has a very delicate flavor to it. It's a little bit citrusy, and it's a little bit like chocolate, actually. So citrusy chocolate.
I did try this yesterday and I absolutely love it. It looks like a marshmallow.
Right.
They're so good though.
They are. So my assessment is that they kind of taste like a like citrusy chocolate.
Yeah, I like your citrusy chocolate, sure, for the taste, but the consistency is so weird. Like, you can tell by looking at it. That's what it feels like in your mouth.
Yeah,
like that's not.
It feels fuzzy. In your mouth.
Yeah. Whatever you're thinking, this feels like. You're probably right.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Look at how good I sucked. Yeah,
Dave, you really sucked.
I'm. A lot of people have told me that I suck.
Yeah,
and here
they're right.
is the proof. Now that shenanigans is over, all right. Now step number. What are we on? Step number 5. I forgot.
Yes,
Step
yes.
number 5 is we add the bass. Now, but we'll look at this. So we've got the tail section here, but this. That's the whole head, like this, the whole half of a head of that bass. All right, so then we take our chunks of that monster bass. I mean, the biggest bass that anybody has ever seen in these parts before.
Yes, that's true.
And we put it into our sauce. And then how long do we let that simmer in our sauce?
I'll give it 45 minutes.
45 minutes. So we just basically let that simmer for 45 minutes. It's going to soak up all of those flavors, all of those spices. Do you know why there is so much bass here?
Because it was a big fish.
That's right. It was the biggest fish in the river that I caught.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a bigger bass than that caught out of the?
No.
No, of course not. That was the good answer. I'll pay you for that later.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we have Becky's delicious peacock bass. Did I mention I caught this?
I think you've mentioned it several times to the point where at this point it's boring in the video.
Is it?
Yeah.
I just don't remember ever telling anybody that I caught this big fish.
Mm-hmm.
That's very strange. All right, so we are going to test this out. I mean, look at this. We've got this really nice looking cassava sauce. Have you ever tried peacock bass before? Because I haven't. I've caught a lot of these, especially in South Florida, but I've never really had one cooked like this before.
I don't think I have.
But to have it cooked like this, a very traditional Surinamese dish, this might be better. If we taste tested this and it was just simply rolled in some batter and fried.
Like at a restaurant or something? Yeah.
Probably wouldn't be as good as this looks. Let's give this a try. You ready?
Let's do it. Here
we go.
Wow, that cassava sauce. So the cassava sauce is beautiful. It's sweet, but you can definitely taste the fish. That sauce doesn't overpower at all.
It complements it. It doesn't overpower it, and this fish is super flaky, super tender.
I have a question though. I heard peacock bass is not bass. It's a cichlid.
That is a very good point. It is a cichlid. I'm not going to call it a cichlid.
No.
I'm going to call it a peacock bass.
Yeah. But it is a totally different fish.
Right.
You know.
Right. That's just
but
how
man,
we roll.
it's very good.
It is absolutely delicious. All right, so now that we've seen how peacock bass is prepped from the time that I caught that giant out there.
You did.
Yeah, okay. So it's getting to be evening, the sun has just set, and that means that it's time for a bush dinner. That didn't sound right. But what I mean by that is that right behind me at the camp kitchen, they're cooking up the other half of the paka that we had for dinner the previous night. But this time, it's gonna be paka barbecue. It is super windy tonight, and that might be a little hard to barbecue out here. It's not gonna stop us, of course, but this is the grate that we're gonna put the other half of the paka that we ate last night on. All right, Becky, so we've got our paka here.
Yes.
And so tell me why we make the slits.
So the seasoning can soak in properly.
Yeah, that's a good reason to make slits. All right, so we are taking that where?
We're taking it here.
Over here. All right, here we go. Oh, that's like plenty hot. Holy crap. Like I'm this far away from it and that feels like the surface of the sun. But look at that. We just put on one back leg, the other back part of it, and then we just let it grill. And how long do we let it grill for?
Maybe 45 minutes.
45 minutes. All right.
It smells good, it's good.
Yeah. So that's you use the smell test with this.
Bring a bowl first.
And if it passes the smell test, we're good to go, right?
Yes, it's good.
All right. I do the same thing with something else that's not really, paka, but
What it's called?
this is a family channel.
Family friendly.
Yeah, that's right.
Family friendly.
That's right. All right, but that's looking good. I mean, That looks done to me.
Yes,
But
it's
this
done.
is, you know, I'm not like a professional paka cooker.
Mhm.
You are. So that's done?
Yes, it's done.
Let's eat. This is just a big block of barbecued meat on a plate. Looks absolutely meaty, absolutely delicious. Let's dig in at the same time. And I mean, look at this. This is just a big old bone of paka. I mean, this, when you bite into a big old bone of paka, you know you are in the Amazon wilderness.
Right. You know what I have? I don't have a bone. I just have a chunk of meat.
You have a chunk of meat.
Yeah, I'm excited
Oh
about
man, I'm kind of jealous that I have a bone.
Let's eat like natives.
That didn't sound right either.
Didn't.
All right, you ready?
Let's eat like
1,
natives.
2, 10. Here we go. Oh my god, dude.
That's so good.
So the dish that we had last time that Becky cooked up for us was amazing. Barbecued paka takes this to a whole new level. You've got all those natural smoky flavors in there, all those herbs, all those spices that Becky put on this. She is one incredible cook. So again, this is super meaty, tastes very much like pork, but like pork tastes good to this level, paka is up here.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's a
I would
level
agree.
up.
I would agree.
For sure.
This is absolutely fantastic. I just want to thank Joan and Becky for everything that they've done to take care of us while we're out here in the wilderness. We would be starving, sitting on the shore over on that river with bloated belly. Those flies would be on us because they'd be eating us alive if it wasn't for Becky and Joan feeding us out here. So I just want to thank them. So guys, if you're hungry for more, there's a video to check out right over Bob's face. If you are starving for more, there's a playlist to check out right there. Are you gonna eat the claw of the
I'm
paka?
not
Because
gonna eat the claw.
You're
It's
not?
got the hair still on it. I'm gonna just leave it in the bowl.
Do you mind if I have that? or-
You can have it, yes. I would love to see you eat that.
It didn't clean good. I didn't clean it good.